I get asked this question a lot. Do I need a lot of money to set up an IUL? They're probably asking that because many videos on this channel show illustrations of high net worth people setting up indexed universal life to accommodate, 100,000 a year, 500,000 or a million a year. Yeah, because the wealthy understand how powerful these are to earn average net internal rates of return of 9-10% tax free. Hello. And maximizing what they leave behind and protecting their assets from frivolous lawsuits and so forth. But no, you can set up an IUL for as little as $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. In this episode, I'm going to give you examples of what that could achieve for you. An IUL structured correctly and funded properly for as little as $500 a month. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for north of 5 decades, helping thousands of Americans optimize their assets, minimize taxes, prepare for a comfortable retirement so they will not outlive their money. If you've watched very many episodes, my favorite financial vehicle without question is a property structured max funded indexed universal life. But I would say that over 95% of indexed universal life policies would never be deemed to be a laser fund, which means liquid asset safely earning returns, because whoever set it up didn't structure it to be able to grow with an internal rate of return net after all costs and fees in that 8, 9, 10% range. To achieve what I'm going to talk about here next, to give you an example of how you could set one up for as little as $500 a month. And so if you started to sock away $500 a month into a property structured max funded IUL, what you want is the least amount of insurance you can get away with to put in that $500 a month so that your cash value, listen very close to this, so that your cash value in that policy, that's your premiums earning interest, your cash value will grow to equal and exceed the premiums you paid in at least within the first 5 years. So you start socking away $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. In the first 5 years, you put in $6,000 times 5 years, that's $30,000. If you put $30,000 into that IUL policy the first 5 years, your cash value ought to be at least $30,000 or more, okay? If it isn't, you either came on a very poor time period where the market was down when you first started. Maybe you started it in the year 2000 and you didn't understand what you were doing. That could have been possible. Your cash value didn't equal the premiums you put in. But you wouldn't believe how many IUL policies that I see that the cash value doesn't even begin to equal the amount of premiums they paid in, even 20 or 30 years into the policy, because whoever set it up didn't set it up for living benefits, okay? Now, eventually, your cash value ought to grow to equal and then exceed the original death benefit required under the IRS guidelines within the 10th to 15th year of the policy. If that happens, then your internal rate of return, retroactive back to the very first day you had the policy, when you're jumping through these IRS hoops to make sure it's tax-free when you go to access the money, your internal rate of return should be within 1% of the gross rate of return. If you averaged 9% the first 20 years of the policy, you should have netted 8 if you're grossing 9. If you average 10, you should be netting 9. If you average 11, you net 10. So the all cost of the insurance and everything is only using up 1 percentage point of your interest that would otherwise go out the window in unnecessary tax if you put that money, that $500 a month, into an IRA or 401k. I mean, you'd have to be earning 12 to 15% on a tax-deferred IRA or 401k to net 8 after tax and fees. Here I only have to earn 9 to net 8. And I usually have averaged much more than that, like 9.62%. Ever since Universal Life came out in 1980, and in 1997, Indexed Universal Life came out, I have averaged 9.62%. Now, if you understand the rule of 72, you divide 9.6 into 72, and it tells you your money will double every 7.5 years. Now, in this example, we're not starting out with a lump sum. And so since we're not starting out with a lump sum, we're just putting in monthly then we can't just add up what we've paid into the policy over a 30-year period and then expect that to have doubled or tripled, because you're funding it monthly. But let me give you an example of what actually will happen if you averaged, like I have, 9.62%. If you were age 35 or age 30, and you set up an IUL structured correctly and funded properly with the least amount of insurance you can get away with, you put in $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year, times 30 years. That's a total investment over 30 years of $180,000. But it took you 30 years to get the 180 in, but it's growing while you're putting the money in there. At 9.62% average return, your policy would have $1,042,000 of cash value in it. A million bucks. That's one way to stack up a million. $500 a month, earning an average of 9.6. We have many clients who have done that. What does that mean? That $1 million in that IUL can generate $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year. That's a 10% payout of tax-free income for life if you continue to rebalance and fund it properly, and you access your money the smart way. Okay. Now, if you say, well, that's not going to be enough because of inflation, well, then maybe you ought to sock away more money, or you need to sock away $500 a month for longer. If you set aside $500 a month from age 35 to age 70, or age 30 to age 65, what's an additional 5 years mean? Are you ready? You would have just set aside 5 more years of $500 a month, but you would end up with $1,721,000 at 9.6% rate of return. Okay, and so the longer you can put off retirement, the better. So $500 a month over a 35-year period is $210,000, but you'd have 1.7 million, and 1.7 million in an IUL can generate $170,000 a year of tax-free income from age 65 or age 70 for the rest of your life without running out of money based on actual historical performance. So check this out. You don't need a lot of money to set up an IUL. It's more critical that you set it up correctly and you fund it properly so that it can perform at internal rates of return in that 7, 8, 9% range at a minimum. If you want to learn more how to do this and see examples, study my book, The Laser Fund. This has been flying off of our warehouse shelves. You can buy this 300-page book on Amazon for $20 up to $60. If you do that, thank you, but I'll gift you a copy free. You simply go to laserfund.com or click on the link below, and you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I require a little skin in the game, okay? And I'll cover the rest of that, and I'll pay for the book. I will fire out a hard copy of this to you via priority mail, okay? And while you're in there, getting your free copy, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's those formats available for your investment. But you can register to attend a free weekly educational webinar with no cost or obligation. We do every week. You can even schedule an appointment to talk to a certified IUL professional to see how a properly structured max-funded IUL can work in your particular set of circumstances. And if all you've got is $500 or $1,000 a month, don't rule yourself out. The sooner you get started, the better.